Hello, welcome back to yet another episode of Sit Down with the Go-Kart Custodian. I remain your humble host, Omoba LOC, aka the Go-Kart Custodian. Yes, I just felt I had to do this video to get rid of some anger, should I say, and to get off some feelings. Basically, if you're familiar to my channel, you probably know that I'm always at the forefront of trying to rebuild the broken relationship between continental Africans and people of African descent, especially African Americans. So I'm always trying to preach that love, that unity, that togetherness. I'm always saying we need to come together. We need to preach. We need to just build together. We need to come together. We need to unite. Basically, if we're going to conquer the world, and because we are born to be kings and rulers, I'm always putting that out. And at this moment in time, I'd like to salute all the African American brothers and sisters coming back to the motherland, trying to rebuild and also trying to spread that positive imagery of Africa. They're trying to preach to the world that Africa is not just all doom and gloom. They're doing a good job. So I salute all you brothers and sisters. So at the same time, I had to address Cathey. If you're not familiar with Cathey, she's a YouTuber. She makes content. She's an African American who she came home to the motherland. She came to Gambia and she established a business. Blah blah blah. And if you're also familiar with her, you remember there was a video she made about the Gambians. There were a lot of things that she said. That received a lot of backlash as well. And yeah, because the way our approach to issues is wrong. If I must be honest, it's wrong. It's demeaning. It's unacceptable. If I'm being honest. Although I must say she did raise a lot of important issues. Obviously, we know Africa has got a lot of issues. Tell me what African country hasn't got any issues? We're going through a lot of problems in Africa. We're not going to hide from that. Everybody knows that. We have issues with corruption, we have issues with poverty, we have issues with ethnicism, tribalism, so many things. There's so many issues with Africa. We all know that. But my thing is, if you're going to go to a country, especially a new country, a foreign country, no matter what you think of the people, the fact that they've actually, welcomed you back with open arms, you never go and talk about them in a demeaning, offensive, insultive way. You don't do that. That's just a no-no. I've been to America a couple of times. Been to a few places. I've been to the ghetto. I've been to the real hood. In America. But you're never gonna see me go on YouTube and make a video talking down on my fellow brothers and sisters. Talking about the problems. Like in the hoods and talking about them in a demeaning and insultive manner. Because I'm not gonna do that. And obviously, you know what's going to happen if I do that. It's going to receive a lot of backlash, a lot of hatred, and this is how all this animosity and all this divisiveness, it keeps prolonging, and it keeps lingering in our systems and our minds, and we need to eradicate that. So this is just a call out to Cathey. You need to be more diplomatic in your approach. You need to be more articulated in your approach, in your manner. You need to address people with respect, especially if you're going to go to a country where they welcome you back, irrespective of whatever you think of the people. And don't get me wrong, I've defended Cathey on a few platforms. When my fellow African brothers and sisters wanted to come for her, and I said, she's only airing her views, even though she's doing it in the wrong way. She's doing it in a negative manner. What can I say? I received a dose of the Cathey treatment just yesterday. I'm gonna read this out, because basically she made a post. Actually, let me just go to the post now. She was talking about. I'm gonna just read, because I made a comment and I'm gonna I'll share what the reply was. So basically, this was Cathey on a YouTube channel. So she made a post where she said it was something about it says. When we start talking rituals and blood sacrifice, you'll act like it's evil, especially in Africa. In most parts, continental Africans are against traditional practices. Then she said something about study the Asian Revolution. They knew what brought them to power, to defeat their oppressors and it wasn't forgiveness. Go to artcathey.com for more information about repatriation and investment opportunities in Gambia. Fine. Then she made, underneath all that, there was a post where she said, the African knows and practices every spiritual system but their own. Hashtag slave behavior. The African knows and practices every spiritual system but their own. Slave behavior. Like another, she could have actually just, comment, just basically just said, why do Africans, practice every other religion, blah, 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 and, and neglect their own traditional belief system or whatever. That would have been, but having, putting hashtag slave behavior, there was no need for that. That was very, very insulting. You mean, I read that, and I was, but then that wasn't what got me. What got me was my response to that post. And you guys hear me out. If anything I said in the comment. By the way, this comment is still on our on our channel, so you can actually go check it out. So basically, this is what I said. I said, as an African and custodian of a platform that promotes African culture and tradition. This is, if you don't know, this is what Goka does. Goka means golden calabash. So basically what we do is promote African culture, history, tradition, arts, customs, practices, and all that. So that's what we do on this channel. Anyways, like I said, as an African and custodian of a platform that promotes African culture and tradition. This is a wrong presumption. Yes, there are a lot of Africans practicing foreign religions, but there are also lots of traditional worshippers. The only problem is that traditional worship is viewed in negative light due to the increase of ritual killings and so on. But I can categorically say that we still worship Shango, Oya, Oshun, Obatala, Yemoja, and so on. This was my response. Basically there was nothing, like it wasn't offensive or anything. It was just me just stating, facts that obviously she thought, like maybe, obviously I knew where she was coming from, like I know what she's trying to say and everything. And I tried to, respond to that. But let me just read out our response to what I said. She said, just listen to this. She said, here we go again with the fake AF African authority. Sir, you missed the point. Stop trying to police what I say and actually pay TF attention. We all know what the TF means. Listen to this. Most of you are emotionally charged like a young prepubescent girl. You have extremely poor reading comprehension in this post especially. So hush. Go eat some nasty fufu. Then she's got in capital letters, continental Africans. I do not need correcting by any of you. It's actually time for you to STFU. Now, she's talking about people acting like prepubescent adolescent girls or whatever. Who was actually acting like a teenage, little girl in that, with that response. She's talking about go eat some nasty fufu. You have poor. I was only trying to point out the fact. Trying to educate her on, what she posted, which I understood. But then I'm also trying to let her know the reasons, some of the reasons why we Africans, some Africans I should say, or most Africans will shy away from traditional practices. And this is because of the usual negative connotation that comes with them. Because if you're not aware, there's a lot of negative connotation, like I said, that comes with religious African traditional worship and things of that nature. Because we've had issues with ritual killings where like people kidnap people and kill them, murder them and dismember the bodies, and try to use them for some sort of sacrifices or whatever. It's been a big problem, especially in West Africa, especially, I'm not going to mention countries, but it's been a big problem. Also, there's been a lot of issues, with people trying to do blood money, to try to get instant riches and things of that nature. So these are problems why, these are some of the reasons why Africans might start shying away from the traditional, like worship and religions. But nevertheless, you have to understand that a lot of us Africans still practice our traditional religions. You know, like there's still the Ifa is not going anywhere. Oshun is not going anywhere. If you watch my channel, you see, for example, that we had an event last year where a lot of Oshun worshippers came, a lot of Ifa, you know, priests and priestesses came. We have Oshun, we have Yemoja, Obatala. So you just have to understand, you know, and sometimes I get I get a bit irritated where people just try to box Africa into one, you know, like they just try to put Africa into one box. And this is what I'm trying to say every time, you know, like we need to educate ourselves about each other's cultures. You know, Africa is not, people talk about Africa like Africa is just one giant country. Africa is not. Africa is a continent of 54 plus countries. So for example, like in Nigeria, where I'm from, we have 206 million people and counting just in Nigeria alone. The most populous black nation in the world, period. And also in Nigeria, we speak more than 520 languages. So obviously there's bound to be so many differences in terms of culture, in terms of religious practices, in terms of customs, you know, and things of that nature. So these are things that people need to understand. And a lot of times people, you know, talk because they speak from they're looking from the outside in. As someone who, you know, has experienced Western life and African life, I can answer a lot of questions that people have, and also there's a lot of miseducation and misconception as well. And a lot of times, you know, people don't understand, you know, the reasons from the other side, but they just, you know, go ahead and pass judgment. Even Africans do this, you know, about African Americans. A lot of Africans don't know the struggles that African Americans have to go through every day in the United States. You know, like the system is biased. The system, you know, segregates the African man, you know, the African brothers and sisters. The system is designed, you know, to keep the black man down in the United States. You know, there's over-policing, you know, segregation, institutionalized racism and things of that nature. These are some of the things that we need to understand on both sides. So, and this is a message for Cathey. Your approach is totally wrong. You know, all you're doing is just further bringing on more hatred and you know, more animosity between both sides, between Africans and African Americans. Because obviously you have a lot of followers. So you have to understand you need to be a role model for your followers and things of that nature, because you're not doing us any favors. You know, the black race, we've gone through a lot of pain, we've gone through a lot of suffering, we've always been down, we've always had to fight our way to get freedom, to get justice, to get acceptance. You know, we've had to fight against separation, segregation, and things of that nature. We don't need more animosity between us. We don't need more segregation. We don't need more separation. And the way you're going about things, you further alienating us from each other, which is totally wrong. I mean, my response to your post was not even offensive, but then you're talking about go eat some nasty fufu. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I know you didn't mean that in a very friendly manner, and I also understand what you were trying to say. If you're going to be coming down to Africa, you know, and then, you know, living off Africa and enjoying the riches, enjoying the weather, enjoying the warmth of the people, you also have an obligation and you have a responsibility to always act accordingly, to act with dignity. Because you can't be coming down to Africa and be talking down on the people, be talking about the people that they're nasty, fine, we all have problems. Everyone has issues. All African countries. Tell me what African country hasn't had any problems in the past. Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Mali, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon. A lot of civil wars. We've had a lot of famine. We've had a lot of corrupt leaders, you know, that have messed up, you know, the countries and squandered all our wealth, all our resources. We've got a lot of problems in Africa. Our problems go deeper than what a lot of people understand, you know, like we have problems with religion, we have problems with our ethnicity, even with our tribes, you know, our tribes don't get along, things of that nature. There's so many issues. So unless you're going to be coming to the motherland and offering us solutions, you know, you need to just take a step back and just, you know, stop bringing on more hate, stop bringing on more animosities, more segregation, more separation, because that's not what we need. We need togetherness. We need to stand as one, and you need to stop being so insulting to people that respond to your posts or people that have a comment. There are ways where you can be, you know, more diplomatic, more politically correct. You can give constructive criticism as well. You can criticize people constructively, but not by talking down on them, trying to demean them. And because let's face it, Gambia is a very warm country. Shout out to my Gambian brothers and sisters. Gambia is a small country. Gambia is a country of 2 million people. If you had come to Nigeria, and you had, brought all that negative energy, I'm telling you, things, it would have been really ugly, really quick. I'm telling you, I'm giving you as a fact. Because Nigerians, we talk bad about each other, about ourselves, we talk about problems, but we don't like outsiders coming in and, talking bad, talking down on us and, trying to degrade us, because that's just wrong. So we need to understand that, you have a responsibility to play, especially if you're going to be, on public platforms, to try to project Africa to the world. You need to act with dignity and with respect. Because I know a lot of African brothers and a lot of African American brothers and sisters. I know them. I speak to them on a daily basis. I come across them on social media platforms, and they're very dignified people. We address each other with respect. It's all cordial. It's all mutual. There's a mutual respect. They don't go down. They don't go around talking down about Africans. Nevertheless, I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about the negative things happening in Africa. Don't get me wrong, but then I'm saying there's a way you need to do that. There's a way you can speak and you can address issues with Africa without being offensive, without degrading the people, without demeaning the people, without talking down on them, because that's wrong, and people feel hurt because as Africans we're going through so much pain, we're going through so much hurt. And the last thing we want is our distant cousins to come down and then look down on us, like with some kind of, So this is just a message for Cathey. I mean no harm. It's all love. You can reach out. But I'm saying you need to do better than that with your approach. It's totally wrong. We need Africa and African Americans to be united. We need the whole entire black race to come together, because that's the only way we're going to win. We've had so many centuries of all this BS, they've kept us down for so long. And we can't just let the enemy win, by us fighting each other, constantly. So this is a shout out to all, to everyone of African descent, everyone of African origin. We need to come together, and especially when we're on social media platforms, we need to act with dignity. We need to understand that most of our posts, most of the comments, they have repercussions. And with every action, there's a reaction. So we need to bear this in mind, and we need to keep the positive energy going. Once again, I give a shout out to all my African brothers, all my African brothers and sisters, all my African American brothers and sisters all over the world. Everyone of black origin. I'm saying I salute you all. Let's stay together. Let's keep everything in check. Let's keep ourselves in check. Let's keep the love going, because that's the only way we can conquer. We need to stand together. We need to stay together in one unified voice. No hatred. I mean no harm. I want peace. I want prosperity between Africans and everyone of black origin. At this point, I'm just going to wrap up this video. I hope Cathey, I hope you take all my messages on board, all my opinion. I mean no harm. I'm just trying to respect you as a fellow African brother. And I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.